Well, welcome to the True Man Podcast. This is an invitation to radical reconstruction of a man's masculine heart and soul in a place of safe community where we dare to ask questions deep seated inside a man and explore ways to help you become a better man, a better son, a better dad, and a better spouse. Well, I hope you're having an exceptional day. I know I am. Thank you for listening to the True Man Podcast. And before I dive into today's topic, I would really enjoy it if you'd go out to my website, truemanlifecoaching.com. On that website, you'll find a number of things. You will find my books. True Man, True Ways, a roadmap of discovery to the masculine heart is out there. If you're interested in that book and learning how to get your masculine heart back, I would encourage you to go out there, check it out. There's some information on that book, and you can go out and order my book directly from my website. Also on that website, I'd like you to go take a look at my speaker page. I'm really getting to the point where I want to come out and talk more to groups, Christian groups, business organizations, anybody that would like to learn about the power of asking for help. Please contact me. You'll see my calendar all over my website. You can get on my calendar and find out more information about how you can invite me to speak at one of your upcoming events. I'm even available to do that over Zoom if we can't get to wherever we need to get to, or maybe your group meets online. Seems to be a lot more of that in this day and age after COVID. Well, today's topic, the last couple of weeks have been a little heavy ever since the Charlie Kirk shooting. I've had a little bit of focus on what's going on in our country. But today I want to circle back to you and get more into you. And the topic today really centers itself around how you can become a better role model, not just for your kids, but for your wife, for your family, for your business. How do we become good role models? Now, there's a hard truth I think that a lot of us don't necessarily want to face. And it's a hard truth. And this may hit you square between the eyes. And that is this: if you don't lead your home, someone else or something will. And you may not like where they or it takes it. Now, we live in a world full of influences, pulling from our families from every direction, really. Culture, social media, celebrity voices, political agendas. Everyone's trying to teach your wife, your kids, your community what truth should look like, aren't they? So the question isn't whether your family is being influenced. The question is by whom or what or it. And that's why we need men, real men, strong Christian-oriented men to rise up and say, no, not in my house. Now, I'm not looking for perfect men, okay? We know that's not possible. Not flawless heroes, but men who are really willing to take ownership over their influence, to model strength and humility, truth and grace, conviction, compassion, and your faith. Because here is the truth. You're modeling something every single day, whether you realize it or not. The question is, what are you modeling? How are you modeling? Now, every generation either strengthens or weakens because of the men who lead it. Look around you today. Confusion about identity, masculinity, and leadership has really never been greater. We've got boys who have never become men trying to lead homes where they've never been taught to build. We've got fathers missing from homes, husbands disengaged in marriage, and men surrendering their purpose to comfort, distraction, or fear. And when men go passive, the vacuum doesn't stay empty, something else fills it. So if men don't lead with truth, lies will. If men don't lead with strength, weakness will. And if men don't lead with faith, fear will lead. And that's why this message isn't just about being a better dad or a good husband. It's about understanding that leadership in your home isn't optional. In fact, it's a calling. Now, God didn't design you to drift through life hoping things would just work out. He designed you to stand firm, to lead your family toward His truth, and to be a living, breathing example of His grace in action. So let's look at a little biblical foundation of fatherhood, shall we? Scripture couldn't be clearer on this. From the beginning, God gave men a leadership assignment, not domination, but stewardship. So in Genesis chapter 18, verses 19, God says to Abraham, "For I have chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord." That's the job description of a father and a leader, to guide his family in the ways of God. Now, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 23 reminds us, "For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church." Now, that does not mean superiority. Hear me here. It means responsibility. Men are called to lead like Christ, through sacrifice, through humility, and through example. Jesus didn't lead his followers by barking orders at them or demanding submission. He led by washing feet, healing the broken, teaching the truth, and laying down his life for those he loved. That, friends, is the model of leadership heaven expects from men: servant leadership and eternal purpose. And when a man like Christ, when a man leads like Christ, that's what I wanted to say, his home becomes a place of peace. His marriage becomes a partnership of strength. His children grow up knowing what love, courage, and integrity look like. That's the power of God's design, and it starts with you. Men, your family does not need another lecture. We're good at that sometimes, aren't we? They need a living example. Now, you can tell your kids to pray, but if they never see you pray, they won't believe prayer matters. You can tell your wife you love her, but if you don't serve her, protect her, and honor her, well, your words are kind of empty, aren't they? You can tell your sons to be men of integrity, but if you cut corners, if you lie, if you hide your struggles, well, they're going to do the same thing, won't they? You are the loudest sermon that your family will ever hear. And whether you realize it or not, your kids are studying and watching you every day. How you respond when things go wrong, how you treat their mother, how you talk to others, how you handle money, how you handle temptation. All these matter. And listen, I'm not unlike a lot of men. Have I always handled this correctly? No. No. But the fact of the matter is that your family's watching your tone, your habits, your work ethic, your faith life. And what they see will shape who they become. So the truth is, you don't get to choose whether you're a role model, only what kind of role model that you're going to be. You see, every father, every husband, every man has the power to build or to break the next generation through his example. And the greatest gift you can give your children isn't money or opportunity, it's a life worth imitating. Now, if your home feels chaotic, start by checking the tone you're setting. Your words create the climate of your household, your habits create the culture, and your integrity sets the ceiling. But being the leader of your home doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you take responsibility for finding them. And when your wife feels secure in your love and confident in your faithfulness, well, she flourishes. And when your children see you consistent, disciplined, and kind, they gain stability. And when you bring peace instead of pressure, strength instead of stress, your family grows in confidence. You see, leadership in the home looks like praying with your family, even when it feels awkward, saying, I'm sorry, even when pride wants to shut your mouth, listening with intention, not to fix, but to understand, guarding your home from toxic influences, and there are a lot of them, media, friends, or habits that steal your family's peace, choosing time over toys, being present, friends, over being busy. Now, men, your home is your training ground for leadership. If you can't lead with love there, well, you're not ready to lead anywhere else, really. Now, some men hear all this and, well, they feel the weight of it. I have felt the weight of it, of not having had a example maybe in your life to help you along the way. Maybe your dad wasn't there. Maybe he was physically present, but emotionally absent. Maybe you learned early that you couldn't rely on him. I've heard these stories from a lot of different men. And if that's your story, hear this. You, friend, are not disqualified. You're chosen, you're called, and you can be the one who breaks the cycle. You may not have had a map, but God gave you a compass, his word. So Psalm chapter 68, verse 5 says this, calls God a father to be fearless. That means a man is without guidance if he is willing to listen. That means that no man is without guidance if he's willing to listen. You can become the role model you never had by walking with the Father who never leaves. You don't have to repeat the pain you experience. You can rewrite the story for your children and their children. Just start by being present. Start by admitting what you don't know and asking God to teach you. Start by surrounding yourself with godly men who will hold you accountable and lift you up. And remember this, your past may explain you, but it does not define you. Your decisions moving forward do. Now, when men lead well at home, the impact doesn't stop at their front door, it spills out into the community that surrounds you. Strong families build strong neighborhoods build strong cities, and strong cities build strong nations. And at this time and place, we need that. We need more of that. Every time a man steps up to love his wife faithfully, to raise his kids intentionally, and to live with integrity, he pushes back against the culture that wants to redefine masculinity as weakness or toxicity. And when a man leads well, culture steps in. But when men embrace leadership, the culture can change. The statistics on fatherlessness, this is another aspect of our country. going on. The statistics of fatherlessness are staggering. Children from fatherless homes are more likely to drop out of school, struggle with depression, and end up in the criminal justice system. But when a father is present, truly present, its odds flip dramatically. And we have many kids that grow up in fatherless environments where their father is just not present. And it's not just biological fatherhood that matters. Every man has the capacity to father, to mentor, to guide, to invest in someone younger. The next generation doesn't just need preachers or teachers. They need examples. They need men who will stand up and show them what godly strength looks like in the world. And your life may be the only Bible some people read. So live it well. Let's talk about, as I get close to wrapping up here, 5 marks of a godly role model. And I'm going to make this practical. If you want to know what being a godly role model looks like, here are 5 different things. Integrity. Live with integrity. Be the same man in private that you are in public. No double lives, no mask, no secret habits, no fake smiles. Your children, your wife, your community, they need a man whose word means something. And Proverbs 10:9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Now, integrity doesn't mean perfection. It means honesty. When you mess up, own it. When you fall short, admit it. A man's credibility comes from his consistency. Presence. You can't lead from a distance. Be there. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Your kids don't remember what you bought them in the long run. They remember that you showed up. Presence builds trust, and trust builds influence. And influence, friends, changes life. 3, strength. Real strength isn't about muscle over power. It's about discipling and restraint, discipline and restraint. It's about discipline and restraint. Get so used to discipling, I can't tell the difference between a discipline and a discipline. But real strength isn't about muscle power. It's about discipline and restraint. It's being calm in the storm. It's the ability to lead under pressure without breaking under pride. And Psalm 112, verse 7 says this, he will have no fear of bad news. His heart is steadfast, trusting the Lord. That's the kind of strength your family needs. Steady, grounded, and faithful. 4, compassion. Strong men care deeply. Jesus wept. David wept. Paul wept. I'm not telling you to go cry. Just be in touch with your emotions. There's nothing weak about a man who loves deeply, serves selflessly, and shows great grace freely. Your compassion teaches your family that love and leadership can coexist, that real men don't hide their hearts. They, in fact, use them. How about faith? Faith is the anchor of it all. Your family doesn't need a perfect dad or husband. They need a man who walks with God. So let your children see and read the word. Let your wife hear you pray. Let your home be marked by faith in action. Faith fuels courage, and courage shapes legacy. And a man who leads with faith becomes unshakable. And build kingdom families. You know, when men lead with faith and integrity, their homes begin to reflect the kingdom of God. A kingdom family isn't perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's surrendered. It's guided by the truth. It's anchored in love and fueled by purpose. And building a kingdom family means teaching your children that their identity comes from God, not culture. Modeling repentance and forgiveness in your marriage. Establishing boundaries to protect peace. Serving others together as a family, and making your home a place where people encounter the love of Christ. Joshua chapter 24:15 declares, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." That's not a decorative verse on a wall. Friends, that's a battle cry for leadership. And when you decide that your home will serve the Lord, you're making a declaration in heaven and hell that your family will not be swayed by the world's noise. You're drawing a line in the sand and saying, "Not in my house." Not going to happen here. Now, let's be honest. The reason many homes fall apart isn't because men are evil, it's because they're absent. Not just physically absent, but spiritually and emotionally checked out. Too many men are handing over their leadership to convenience. They let the phone, the screen, the job, or the next distraction raise their kids and shape their values. And when you don't lead, something else will. And that's something rarely has your family's best interest at heart. The world is discipling your family every day through media, schools, entertainment, and peers. If you're not intentionally shaping their worldview through God's truth, the world will gladly do it for you. And you can't complain about the world's influence if you're not actively influencing in your own house. Leadership is responsibility, not control, not perfection, but responsibility. Own your post as a watchman and lead your family well. Now, finally, here, men, this is your wake up call. The world doesn't need more critics, it needs more examples. Your wife needs your strength, your children need your wisdom, your community needs your presence. Don't wait for permission to lead. You already have it from God. Don't wait until you feel ready. Leadership starts with obedience, not comfort. Don't underestimate your influence. Someone is watching and you are shaping their faith. Start small if you have to. Pray with your family tonight. Apologize where you need to. Set boundaries where compromise has crept in. Be intentional about who you are becoming. The world is desperate for men who lead with courage, conviction, and compassion, and men who reflect the heart of Christ. Men who understand that the greatest sermon they're ever going to preach is the life they live at home. So stand up. Take your role back. Lead with faith. Lead with strength. Lead with love. Because if you don't, the world will. Is that what you really want? Doesn't your family deserve better than that? Every man leaves a legacy. The question is whether you'll leave one. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? When your children talk about you years from now, what will they say? Will they remember a man who showed up, who loved deeply, who kept his word, who lived by faith? Or are they going to remember a man who drifted and was distracted by everything that didn't matter? Today is the day to decide to step into your calling as a role model God designed you to be, to build a family that stands firm, to lead a community that thrives, and to become a man whose influence echoes into eternity. Lead or be led. The choice is yours, my friend. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast here on the True Man Podcast. Again, probably a little bit of a heavy topic from the standpoint of, leading well is up to you. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. Being a father, being a good husband, being a good friend, being a good employee, or being a good boss, these are all challenges for us on a daily basis. But I think what we need to remind ourselves is people are watching and we need to be a good role model. Now, if you'd like to talk more about this, certainly reach out to me. You can reach out to me at mike@truemanlifecoaching.com. My calendar is on my website at truemanlifecoaching.com. Certainly reach out to me if you'd like to talk more about this. And if you get the opportunity and you enjoyed this podcast, hope you did, please leave me a great review on your favorite podcast channel. Always enjoy you taking the time to be with me. I appreciate you, and I hope this topic really got you thinking. Let me know if it did. And with that, thank you for listening, and go out and make this your very, very best day ever. God bless.